Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas. I had the honor and pleasure of being present at the Global Kashmiri Pandit Conclave on 25th February 2023 in New Delhi at Sai Auditorium. Dr. Surinder Kaul, who came from USA, in his opening remarks made it clear the mood of Kashmiri Pandits is full of frustration and disappointment from the government with respect to efforts to rehabilitate Pandits back to Valley. Keynote speaker Sadhguru gave certain ideas, emphasized this is the battle of narratives and how to build the narrative. He had some profound suggestions as well as he extended his help to host Kashmiri Day and to provide one-on-one guidance. Here are not just excerpts but complete speech of Sadhguru at the inaugural ceremony of Global Kashmiri Pandit Conclave.
33 years of trauma, turmoil, fragmentation, and scattering across the globe, only to receive no acknowledgement, justice, healing, and closure. And even though we are disappointed, we still see a glimmer of hope in the Prime Minister Modi, who has emerged as the best Prime Minister of India. But we don't seem to figure in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. It is time that we see some concrete measures being taken to engage with us, the original natives of Kashmir. Our return to Kashmir and rehabilitation with dignity and security is the responsibility of the government of India. We want development in Kashmir. We want development of Kashmir, a development that includes the common peace-loving people and ensures the elimination of radicals and jihadis. We want the land of our deities to resound with the pluralism of our faith. We want Kashmir restored to its glory. But more than anything else, we want justice delivered. I urge every Indian to become our voice and not let us be relegated to the sidelines. Let us speak up and get the Indian state to recognize the genocide and ethnic cleansing of Hindus in Kashmir, because for reconciliation to occur, there needs to be acceptance and appreciation of truth, howsoever bitter the truth may be. On this note, we all look forward to the spiritual and healing message from Sadhguru. Namaskar.
The demographic shift did not happen overnight. When that was happening, what should have been done, for whatever reasons, could not be done. I am not here to blame anyone, nor am I here to say anything insensitive to those of you who already have been peeled of your skin, that anything can hurt you. You're in that condition, I understand. My words are absolutely inadequate for the empathy that I feel. This was not just done, that is, the necessary things to shore up a society and to protect things that are valuable to us. The people, the rulers, those who were invested in knowledge, and the sacred institutions could not act. The world is still in a state that no one can protect and nurture anything that is of value just with scholars, sans soldiers. This is a mistake that's happened right across Hindustan, and the brunt of it has been taken by the Kashmiri people. But it's happened all across this land. When you have something of value in your home, you need a lock, you need a guard dog, and maybe you need a gun. This is an aspect that we as Hindustan neglected. With the comfort of geographical protection of the mountains around us, we lived thinking nobody will ever come and touch us. We invested in subtler aspects of life, but those who did not understand such things and those who had their own cruel agendas took advantage of us completely. I'm saying in many ways, not to insult you please, this is a case of like spilt milk, strengthening the spiritual backbone of Bharat, which is beyond religious divide and of deep humanism, which is what this culture is about, and doing whatever else that can be done economically and in terms of restoring some parts of geography at least, without putting too many people back to risk once again, is an onerous task. Some efforts are going on. I can understand Dr. Surinder saying what he said, because what efforts are going on is not important. What results have happened is important. Results are not much. Though 370, repealing of 370 was a big step, still to manifest it on the ground, to make it socially safe for ordinary people to be on the street, has not happened yet. Well, the government is trying to encourage people to take jobs. Even the labor who is going from various different states to work there, their lives are not safe. But at the same time, when nearly 85 to 90% of the population gets involved in something of this nature, very hard for security forces to control this. This needs a political and military solution. Military is out there, nearly close to 500,000 soldiers out there for many years. But you know the kind of international campaigns and narratives that have been built around you, as you already mentioned. So one important thing that I feel is we must take charge of the narrative. Well, in recent times, some cinema has been made and, well, it has brought some light to people, the generation of people, the next generation beyond me, did not even know that something like this has happened. It's brought forth. But I feel still we have not taken the narrative in our hands. Our time has definitely come where our identities of geography and ethnicity need to be transcended but not lost. An identity with precious knowledge that we hold is the way forward, because with this identity and this capability, we can be who we are, wherever we are. I'm not trying to write off Kashmir, please do not misunderstand me. Because it pains me to see every couple of weeks or 3-4 weeks, we are seeing 2 Kashmiri Hindus shot dead here, there. For me, these are not numbers. These are people like you and me. 2 people shot dead, oh, just 2. It's not just 2 lives and 2 families and people connected with them, everything is gone. So one thing, this may look very meager to many of you, but I am thinking of long-term well-being of your community. We need to capture the narrative. Many more things have to be done. I think capturing the narrative, how to do it, if you are willing, I'm willing to spend a day with you, with a close group of people, how can we capture the narrative? I'm saying all across the country, you can demand with the central government, as a tragedy that has unfolded in Kashmir, the injustice that has been done to the people, at least to acknowledge that. There must be in every city, at least every major city across the country, there must be a street named after Kashmir, a circle or a square named after Kashmir, or there must be a sector or mountain or a peak. I know these are poor substitutes, but if we want the glorious and atrocious nature of Kashmiri history to be remembered, celebrated by all in Bharat, we need to create symbols. Because going back and taking the land straight away, let us be practical about this, because recently I was with someone from your community who holds a very eminent person, who holds a significant position. He was telling me, Sadhguru, once I retire, I'm going back to Srinagar. I said, please don't do that. Because especially someone of your stature, you should not do that. It will be somebody's pleasure to do something terrible. So we must understand that the essence of all this is there is religious bigotry, and bigotry is written into the scriptures, and if we do not bring that narrative everywhere, if we do not say that it is this narrative that needs to change, just changing one situation, trying to fix one situation is not going to work, because we must understand from Azerbaijan to right up to Cambodia, there was Hindustan. Now it shrunk to this size. And now Kashmir is a problem where they're trying to shrink it further. So this shrinkage didn't happen overnight. The demographic change did not happen overnight. The shift in demographics is the technology. Because there are people who are committed for 100, 200, 500 years. They don't mind if their intentions are fulfilled after 500 years. They are willing to work for it. That commitment creates many cruel situations. But generally, our communities are committed to bringing well-being to people who are living here, not sending them to heaven. So having said that, but if we want this, can everything be corrected? No. Can we bring back the lives, precious lives we've lost? Not at all. But even to get back the geographical entity is very, very difficult. This making Kashmir into a union territory, I think it's a positive step. Fortunately, even the Supreme Court has validated that as a law. And many historical blunders we have done. This is the important thing we need to understand. At a given time, what needs to be done, if we don't do it and we try to do it tomorrow, it will be late for us. Mistakes that have been done, we cannot fix the past. But how do we ensure there is a future? We cannot go on being soaked in the pain and suffering of our parents, but to establish a secure and a culturally rich and identity, enjoying the identity of who we are, the future of our children. This is very important, because I am not saying you can forget this. I am not saying some philosophy, don't worry, tomorrow will be okay. I am not saying those things. All I am saying is, I'm not a very good, I'm not good at consoling people, but I've been thinking of solutions. I've spoken to various aspects of the government regarding this. But every solution that you think of, it is being beaten down by somebody because they have the narrative in the world. I think shifting the narrative is very important. I know I already mentioned one movie was made, but an hour and a half, two, whatever the length of the movie in a theater is one thing, that's fine. But I feel you need like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, like ad films, taking the sufferings of individual families and highlighting it and melt people's hearts across the world. This is very important. We have come to a place in technology and reach where we don't need a theater to spread the message. Just about in everybody's phone, everybody's computer, it can be there. I think focusing on shifting the narrative is very important if we want any solutions. I understand you mentioned a timeline. All of us who have seen this suffering, who are witnesses to this, in another 20, 25 years, we may not be there. I deeply feel for this, but changing the narrative and making Kashmir visible all over the country, at least in India. Everybody who lives in India must know that this has happened to our people. Without this, if it doesn't live in the minds and hearts of people, well, so many things have happened. Absolutely terrible things have happened in this country. It's all gone. It's simply gone, as if it did not happen. The millions who died of famines which were engineered, the millions who were slaughtered, millions who were poisoned, So many things have happened, and thousands of temples which were demolished, all this forgotten, all right? Because somebody has stolen the narrative. This is a time where we must get the narrative back to truth, we must get the narrative back to some sense of historical justice. We clearly understand we cannot get back everything, we cannot build back everything, we cannot be carrying grudge against people for what their forefathers did, but the narrative must be captured. Without the narrative, we will be a rootless and prideless community, which we must change. So about Kashmiris going back to their land, I know that's the dream, but every few weeks I'm seeing 2 dead, 5 dead. We don't want to see that. How to ensure this? Well, it is between military and politics, it needs to happen. Efforts are being made, but even if one person dies, we feel the effort is not enough. So many soldiers have laid down their lives, but it's not been enough. One fortunate thing is, in our neighborhood there is chaos, so the amount of support that was coming from there will be receding in the coming years, definitely. That we must make use of and ensure the cross-border support that was happening should be arrested. In arresting this, the internal security could be largely secured. To what extent, we must see, because when ordinary people who just regularly walk on the street, who go to the vegetable shop, who sit in tea shops, they have a gun at home, and they once in a way, they fulfill what they think is a religious duty or whatever. It's very hard for any agency to catch all of them. Across the world, such movements have happened, and they have gone on for decades and centuries, because this is a lesson the government of India and every state government in the country, and above all the people of India, of this great nation Bharat, all of us must learn this, that if we do not attend to a problem in time, tomorrow could be too late. This is the condition where we are in. I know I have not provided any consolation, I am not using sympathetic words, but I am telling you, my heart forever is you are suffering is in many ways in this country, but similar things have happened everywhere. At least you are at least speaking, others are not even speaking. So many things have happened. But the worst thing about you is it happened now, nearly in 21st century. And if you allow it, it'll happen right now in 21st century. So this is a terrible thing. In independent India, this happened. As I said, I have no adequate words either to express my empathy, nor do I have a hotshot solution, just like that. This is it. I don't have either. I only have profound empathy for every one of you. If you have any questions, please.
Sadhguru, that was awesome. As you said, we need to create symbols. We need to capture narratives. We cannot fix the past, but we can ensure future. And you also said that you are going to be available for us to guide us through all this. And we feel blessed to hear it from you. We don't need sympathy, Sadhguru. We need empathy. We need a dresser. We are beyond sympathy now. We are doing well, but there are so many of us who are still living in camps, not doing too well, out there on streets, fighting for their right to live. Sadhguru, thank you so much for being here with us and enlightening us with your wisdom. May I request you, if you can take a few questions from the audience, would it be okay?
Conscious about the situation in the camps. I hope Rahul Pandita is there among you, and I have read his writings and stuff. I have spoken to many people, but nothing has happened. But I'm saying, the camp situation. Well, the nature of governments, you know how it is. Even if they have the intentions, they have a machinery which rolls extremely slow, not at a pace that will matter for human well-being. Generally, it rolls too slow. So having said that, I feel you can definitely, as many of you are entrenched in corporate world, you can recognize a corporation, because this camp doesn't take too much. If somebody invests a few crores per year, it could be revived and made into a more decent and human habitation could happen in a better way, and also employment and stuff can be created. If you identify a corporation, I can also speak to some people as a part of their CSR or something, they can take up this camp and revive it. That will be a quicker solution than constantly waiting for the government to do.
That's exactly what we are asking for. We're not asking for sympathy. We want people to be with us. Pritosh ji has a question for you, Sadhguru.
Pranam Sadhguru ji. The question I have is related to what everybody knows about, which is we are a ruthless community now. Though we've shown resilience over these years, we are doing well, most of us are doing well, but there is a deep-seated despair which continues. Sadhguru, can you please suggest the way forward and how to overcome this trauma and how to resolve this?
As I said earlier, that our identity, because this is happening everywhere, even if there are no atrocities of this kind, in spite of that, it is happening to all communities around the world. Our identities of geography is being transcended, and our identities need to shift to our culture, our spirituality, and the knowledge base that we hold. If we do this, one of the things that we can do is all the Kashmiri Hindu youth can get involved in this. If you want the first one, I will provide you the base and the entire infrastructure is needed for you. If you want to come and do, let's say, a one-day Kashmir day in the south, we will provide you everything that you need, present your literature, present your art, music, everything. And let people come to know, and also the stories, but let the stories be of the beauty and the power of Kashmiri culture, not just of the terrible things that have happened. That also need to be said. But it's important that people work with you for who you are, not for just what happened, what was done by somebody else to you. What you have done with yourself, which is of significance, it's the land of Kashyap. Kashyapa is one of the 7 sages. As you know, we celebrate Adiyogi and the 7 sages, and we are doing a process, and some research is going on to identify the footprint of 7 sages across the world, in North Africa, in South America, in Central Asia, Southeast Asia, and of course in India. We are making efforts towards that. And if you bring the knowledge, the culture, if you cannot bring all of them as one big festival, if you bring literature, we'll provide you a base in southern India. If you bring music, we'll provide you a base. Or if you come as one cultural fest, it's fine. But I'm sure similar things can be done all over the country to start with, and also around the world it can be done. But it's very important that this happens in India, that you present yourself, so that the youth will not live in despair. The youth will have something to do, and this will also be a very important part of shifting the narrative.
Thank you so much, Sadhguru. Yes, that's the kind of help, that's the kind of support we need, and we need it from you. You being the spiritual guru, we look forward to interact with you personally and get to the real solutions, so we go back to our Kasha plan. Thank you so much, Sadhguru. We do, all of us appreciate you being here. And I would also like to thank Team Isha for facilitating this. Even though you had so many pressing things at your end, you still made it happen.